Hello everyone, in this video I'll be covering if you should play Borderlands 4 in 2026. Borderlands 4 released in September of 2025 to mixed reviews, and there's been a lot of changes since the game has released, so I thought I'd do an honest review here as someone that does enjoy all of the Borderlands games and just wants to talk about the future of the game, the good, bad, and the ugly. Now, one of the biggest problems that this game had at launch was the performance, and I gotta say, that has been improved greatly, and it's something that they are working on improving over time, but as it currently stands, I'm running an RTX 4070, haven't had any real major performance-based issues, and I know a lot of other people that previously had performance issues no longer have them. And another big issue that a lot of people had with the game is no proper end game, and that actually has been mostly fixed here with this newest takedown that released last week, which is some free mobbing content for everyone to enjoy. In addition to this, there are 2 raid bosses, and I know that the end game content is where a lot of the Borderlands games really struggled near the release, as I've played every single one of the Borderlands games at their launch, including Borderlands 1, and typically they don't get that general mobbing content till later on, and I can say now after this update that there is a lot to do in the post game, and I'll be covering all of that in this video. But as it stands, do I think Borderlands 4 is worth playing? Definitely. The game is in a much different state than when it released, and if you've watched reviews from when it did first come out, the game is a lot different than then. So I'll be breaking down all the different changes here in this video. Now, 2 of the biggest additions that the game has added recently as pearlescent weapons, which were not in Borderlands 3, but a big thing in Borderlands 2. They're a little different this time, but I honestly like how they work. We even just got a new pearlescent that allows you to add additional projectiles to your other weapons, so you can get really creative with the builds. Builds being another thing that a lot of people are talking about with this game, because it's a lot different from Borderlands of the past. We now have more branching skill trees, and as far as the Vault Hunter balance goes, there are with 5 characters currently in the game, with the 6th coming in September, I can say that 4 of the 5 currently are in a good spot and have builds that are fun to use and can allow you to play with a variety of different playstyles. Rafa being the only character right now that isn't really in a good spot, but we'll hopefully see some buffs coming to him, as he was one of the strongest characters in the game. Now, another big complaint about this game on launch is the open world concept. Now, I'm not always the biggest fan of open world games, and I honestly don't think it works out perfectly here, but one thing that's been nice about the game is there's been a lot of content added to actually give more linear progression, like the new takedown that just released, where we have straight rooms that you just go through, kind of arena style fighting mobs, which does alleviate some of that open world problems that the game does have, and some people don't like the open world concept. I'm hoping Borderlands 5 is more linear like the games of the past, but I think it was nice for a change. The vehicles kind of allow you to traverse through the map really quickly, lots of save spots that you can teleport to, and you can save your progression as you play with different characters. And currently, as it stands, there is 1 takedown, which is just it's around 20 minutes of mobbing, 20 to 30 minutes of mobbing, and then you fight a boss at the end. And there are 2 raid bosses currently with Subjugator and Thol and Bloom Reaper the Invincible. Very fun fights, which really do challenge your builds. And I honestly really do enjoy the newest one, Subjugator and Thol the Invincibles you see here. You're trying to grind it out and get the platinum rank by taking out the boss as quickly as possible. This is the true end game for the game. There are 2 raid bosses and 1 takedown, alongside 3 vault bosses that you can also fight that do have lots of great loot. You can also re-challenge any of the main game bosses and any boss in the game if you want to farm for loot. That's kind of the whole thing of Borderlands. So while I don't love the open world design that much, I do think that there is enough content for the end game here that it just doesn't get in the way. Now, builds are something that a lot of people have opinions on, and honestly, there can be some work, and they have noted in their roadmap that there will be more balance changes. Like certain characters, like for example, Harlow that I'm playing, has 1 amazing skill tree, and the other 2 are just okay. This incentivizes you to actually mix in if you wanted to take the red skill tree to then take a lot of the green as well, or if you want to play with the blue to also then mix in the green. It does have some level of you can be creative with your builds. The green skill tree for Harlow, for example, is just so synergistic with everything. She has a way to give herself infinite critical hits, which gives her ammo back on her shots, which then gives her bonus damage, which fuels her extra damage. So very synergetic and fun to play. Now, the character I mentioned from earlier, Rafa, he's in a bit of a rough shape right now. There were a few nerfs because he was a bit overpowered. Did bring him down to being not really that powerful right now, but he does have some cool mechanics that if you do want to play as a soldier, he's just ironically the worst with guns currently. But still, there's enough interesting stuff here to make for cool builds. He is honestly, weirdly enough, the best at melee. Then we also have characters like Amon, who at launch everyone said was by far the worst character. Now he has some of the best clear times on the hardest content in the game. So for balance, they've actually given him quite a bit, and it didn't make it feel like anything's cheap. Like, he still has his own unique styles of play, and honestly some very unique build craft. You can go with any of his skill trees except going full in on the green and have a really good time with it. So I think this is interesting because we're actually seeing some of the weaker trees get a lot more buffed, but there's still work to be done. For example, the big cat tree for Vex here, not very strong, but they had made some changes and buffed it up quite a bit. With Vex, this is my favorite character to play. She's kind of interesting because she's got like bleed and a bunch of kinetic based abilities for a siren. But they have made some buffs to make her even more fun to play with new items as well, adding to the overall build variety for this character. She can also run with a minion style build if you want to, and all the different capstones for this actually can work within the game, which is nice to see. And they, again, will hopefully be adding more buffs to this character as well. So honestly, fun to play if you like this style of play. And the newest Vault Hunter Cash, which is a DLC character. In my honest opinion, one of the most fun characters that they have ever made. He's got 3 skill trees that you can use any of the skills here and still do an amazing job with it. Very well balanced. I wouldn't even say balanced. He's just overpowered, but in a fun way because you get a lot of freedom with the way you want to build your character. So if you want to go all in on the red, you can do that. You can go all in on the green, or you can go all in on the blue and throw around some cards. So as far as he goes, they did nerf him a bit, but it didn't feel like it was that much of a nerf. He actually is still very powerful. So for balancing, I do think they've done a great job with all the Vault Hunters except for Rafa right now, but there hopefully will be changing that in some time. And a look at the roadmap for 2026 here, they do say endgame and balancing updates are something that they are working on, so we'll hopefully see that come soon. But this is the roadmap. So we did get our story pack 1 here. We do have the free content with Raid Boss 2 and the Takedown, which were 2 amazing updates, I must say. We also did just recently get Bounty Pack 3. These came together. Bounty Pack 4 coming later this month, and then the final Bounty Pack in September with their final story pack update. It's yet to be seen if we'll be getting a additional year of content. But here's a bit of a deeper look into it. So we just had these 2 updates here. So if you get the Super Deluxe Edition, you get all the bounty packs, which add in around 11 or so items, as well as new cosmetics, 24 cosmetics. We did just have this free update here, which added in 10 new items, as well as a new raid boss. And you can run this boss as many times as you want. It's actually really fun. The Bounty Pack 4 is coming again later this month here. Similar deal. You're going to get around 11 new items with that. The Story Pack will add in probably around like the 15 mark for items, as well as the new character. And then the final Bounty Pack 5 here. So again, it's hard to say if we'll see any more content after this, but if we got another raid boss or another takedown, I think this would put it in a good spot. We do have a lot of content for what it is right now to play. And I gotta say, I really like the takedown of Hadron Abyss alongside that last raid boss that they added. Subjugator and Thol was one of the updates that really made me enjoy this game a whole lot more because it was an actual challenge that didn't feel cheap. It let you test your builds to the hardest content. And there's just so many fun ways that you can go about tackling this. So I honestly think that the end game is in a pretty decent spot right now as it is. Much better than its release. And I hope that we'll see some more stuff coming alongside this. Now, the main story boss of this game, it's not as bad as Borderlands 3, but if you're looking for something like Handsome Jack, like, it's kind of, that was their lightning in a bottle. I don't expect to see a boss as awesome as Handsome Jack in the future, but honestly, as far as the story goes, I like the story. I don't think it's anything like, it does play it safe in some regard, but I think that that is something that's good, just because we don't end up getting anything like super cringy. Like, I know a lot of people didn't really overly enjoy Borderlands 3's story, and it's not the same case as this. I personally didn't really mind the caricatures of Borderlands 3, but I know that was something that a lot of people really did enjoy. Weapon variety, there's a lot of really fun weapons, with some returning from previous Borderlands games and tons of new ideas here. I do think that the weapon variety in this game is really good. I've done tier lists breaking down all the different weapons in this game, and it's actually kind of difficult because there's only really one weapon that's just above everything else, and other than that, you have lots of great options. So if you got a certain like flavor of elements that you like to toss onto your builds, you can go ahead with doing that. They're all really cool, and they have nerfed some of the more overpowered weapons that were in the game. So if you saw at launch that there was only like a few options for weapons, that has been changed. There are now much better variety of weapons that don't, feel too cheesy to beat the game with. So you do got lots of options as far as that goes. Now, where it will go in the future with the new weapons, I do think it will be pretty solid across the board. And would I recommend Borderlands 4? Definitely. This game with this new content here has been an absolute blast to play. All the Vault Hunters minus off are in a really good spot right now. So if there's a certain one that you like, and again, I do expect them to buff Rafa back up to where he was. So we should see some really nice stuff coming for this game in terms of the balance, because that is something that they've said that they will be working on. So honestly, I think Borderlands 4 is in a pretty solid spot. If you've avoided this game because of the reviews at launch, a lot of the issues that were originally out there are no longer really issues, and I'm having a lot of fun with this game. Again, as someone who has played every single Borderlands game, thousands of hours in the franchise, I think that this is possibly their best yet. Borderlands 2 just had so many things that I think a lot of people are nostalgic over, and myself is included. I really did enjoy Borderlands 2 and what went on with that game, but compared to Borderlands 2, there's much better build variety in this game. The gameplay itself, this is the smoothest it's ever been. And honestly, not having to worry about things like slag is really nice in this game as well. You got so many different ways to build your character, and the branching skill trees are really interesting. There's just a lot to enjoy with this game, honestly. The loot and world design, I think, is pretty solid. There are some things that obviously the other version, or the previous version of this game do really well, but as far as it stands, a lot of the issues from launch are no longer issues. So yeah, let me know your thoughts if you played Borderlands 4 in the comments, just for those that are looking to get this game, because it currently is on sale, and I gotta say, this game is really fun as it currently stands. So yeah, hope you guys all have a great day, and if you have any questions regarding this game, feel free to leave those below as well, and we'll catch you all in the next one.